We're so live. I feel so alive.
Your mic is not muted.
Oh, okay.
Once again.
People already know I'm muted. I'm cool.
That's
with that.
right. Here we go. Let's
play
it.
about it.
Let's have a little fun. Welcome to Bear Facts on Guns, where host Derek Baer and his guests are locked and loaded to educate, inspire, and answer your questions about firearms. Today, home safety, and much more. Ready, aim, Derek.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining with us. How's your week, man?
Do you have a drink?
Yeah. I feel like we need
I need one.
Oh, yeah, one right here, boy.
It feels like it should be Saturday tomorrow, and it's only Thursday.
You know, I woke up on Monday and was like, oh, I can sleep in tomorrow. Oh, it's Tuesday. Oh, no, I can sleep in the next day. No, it's Wednesday. It's busy kind of week. It's hot. It's still a little hot.
True.
It's been 3 weeks of just craziness, and it's been fantastic. Tom, on target, joining us back again. Thank you so much.
Derek,
how you doing? How's your week been?
Huh? Oh, you don't even want to know.
Apparently, it's just been one of those kind of weeks.
It's been one of those, but that's life. You get the good with the bad.
You know, I was talking to Tom in the green room earlier, and I literally was like, I was actually impressed that ammo is going down in price.
A little bit.
1,000 rounds. 9mm I found today. 100 full metal jacket, 115 grain. It was like $4.96 for 1,000 rounds. It's a good. We're getting down to the 50-cent range again. It's really good.
It's good.
So
yeah, I think because we're getting into summer, less shooting because there's so many other things to do.
Yep.
Less shooting, less demand, less hoarding. Manufacturers keep on going, and hopefully we'll catch up a little bit.
That's it.
And I think the stimulus checks do help because people were just buying guns and ammo with the stimulus checks. I feel like half the conversations with that were.
Mary, we were just talking about you and your wonderful show, My Living Low Sodium.
Oh yeah,
we were checking out My Low So Lifestyle.
Yeah, please check it out. Mary's an awesome person. Mary's a great individual, great person, awesome with the community, and definitely pays attention to what she's doing. So she's an expert in that for sure. And hi, Kiki, wife as always. Hello, Mr. Chichenko.
Is that how you say that?
So I always tell people if you sneeze and just add a T to it, Chichenko. Works out. That's the only way I can ever get it out in one shot without messing it up terribly bad. So that's it. Welcome to the show, Art. Thanks for joining in. This week's discussion is going to be about home safety and what you can do. Tom from On Target brought in some cool gizmos and gadgets to protect your home and when your guns are safe and you're safely storing them and different ways to make that happen. But I'm just excited about the ammo. I can't get out of my head. I was excited to see that today. Literally where my head is at right now. So it's all good.
Yep, and it's trickling in.
Hey, Lisa.
So come on in.
Hey, Lisa.
And, we probably have something that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing we're probably running into problems with, though, is primers. Can't get primers.
Yep.
I know. Primers stink. My dad bought me this cool reloading for a 12-gauge shotgun, and I literally, what did he say? Stop. Yo, he made the best TikTok today. I didn't know what he was doing, and I was on the phone with one of our techs, and he's recording me, and all I hear is this really good jam, and I'm like, oh, cool. It sounds awesome. So I start rocking my head back and forth, and he's TikToking me, and I'm like, okay. And then he plays it, and it says something about why you shouldn't have kids because your face looks like a butthole. Definitely need to check out that TikTok. It's hilarious. Art and I found TikTok recently, and we're both obsessed with
I
it.
have too. You lose hours.
Oh my gosh.
Hours of it.
I mean, it's only 60-second max.
Right.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, it is the best TikTok, and definitely will be shared. It'll probably be famous. So if you see me out there famous
over
over TikTok,
viral, as the kids would say.
Yeah, what is it?
Viral.
What did I say?
Viral.
Famous?
Yeah, famous.
Yeah, but I want to be TikTok famous.
Yeah, you will be if it goes viral.
I don't know if I like the word viral that much, but
Especially not if you're in the doctor's office. You know what I mean?
Hey, after the last year, I think viral has taken a new.
That's why I don't like it.
Right,
It's such a bad term. Ew, gross.
That's right.
Viral. Oh man, yeah, primer. So I literally have been dying to use this reloader that my dad bought me for Christmas, and it's something that my grandfather used back when I was a kid, and I used to help him with it. So it's literally the same one from way back when, except brand new. And I can't find primer still to this day. Every week I'm checking for it, and I just can't find them to even. I have double A shells ready to go for it. I have the wad for it. I have the BBs for it. The lead for it and everything. I'm missing primer. Driving me crazy. You can almost put a bullet together.
Yep.
A cartridge together.
As long as the manufacturers are getting theirs.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it needs to start there. So I guess I'll just hold off on my reign of things. So awesome. So what do we got today, man?
Well, we got a lead in, hopefully for a subsequent show on home defense. And today is a little bit lighter. It's just about some home safety and some of the things you could do. And when we talk about home safety, it's not like keeping the Drano and keeping the liquid plumber locked up away from the kids or anything.
Childproof.
All that common sense stuff, as a chaser for your martini.
Yeah.
But,
one wicked martini.
When we think of home safety in the gun world, we're thinking of, okay, how do you secure your firearms?
Yep.
And that's always been one of those double-edged sword dilemmas for those who want a safe home.
Sure.
But they want access to the gun. And if you're living single, then you could put guns in your refrigerator wherever you want. Okay.
Gotta keep them cool.
And overseas, when we were overseas, we had stuff laying all over the place. Tripwires by the front door and what have you. But
my bad, bro.
You enter a whole new world when you have children in the house. So how are you going to keep it accessible? How are you going to keep it secure?
Right.
Okay. And then it comes down to, okay, do I carry it? Do I put it in the little safe, lock and loaded? That sort of thing. If you have a good enough safe, sure. So let's look at some of the options that we have.
Well, this is when you're using it as a shield, right? Because there's a lot of people for sport who keep it in a big old gun safe that stands up down in their basement, and they're not worried about grabbing it in case of an emergency, I guess, right?
Right. They might have a baseball bat in their bedroom,
right?
But they have all their guns secured. They're fine. I mean, it's like Fort Knox.
Yeah.
But they're never going to be able to get that gun in time if they need it. If it's an armed intrusion, 30% of home invaders are armed.
Wow.
With some kind of weapon.
It's a pretty high rate.
That's a scary rate. Yeah, Mac, you're completely right. And honestly, I'm going to say right now, Mac, that right there is 90% of the conversations I have in the real world. Obviously, outside the show, when people come up to me and talk about guns and their experience, which I absolutely love to hear. So anybody that sees me in the world outside of 216 and that, talk about it. I want to hear your gun stories. I love listening to everyone's passion in different ways, but literally the number one thing I get from non-gun owners that like guns, they appreciate them, they understand them, they're not against them. They say the biggest thing is safety with kids in the house. And there's ways that we're going to talk about today that's really going to protect. And obviously it's you, right? It's you as a person and the correct training to understand what you should be doing and the correct tools, to make sure that your gun's not only safe in your house, because every house is different. There's no blanket statements to any of this stuff. It's all about you and your house. So when it comes down to it, you need to find out what works best. And if you don't know or need suggestions, that's what Tom's here for. He is a retail store, is a gun range that can teach you all of that, which is good.
Let's take the most simplistic system here is your gun lock.
Yep.
Okay. With some of our firearm safety classes, we just give these away. And that's fine. It gives people a strong sense of security. Mm-hmm. But what are you going to be asking your spouse when someone kicks in the front door? What's that question you're going to be asking?
Where's the key?
There you go. Where's the key? I got it right here. Okay, so where's that key going to be?
Yep.
And how are you going to manipulate that lock with the key? I can't even do it now real easy.
When your hands
All right,
shaking.
now your hands are shaking because you got to remember when you get that burst of adrenaline. And where's your blood flow go? To your major organs, to your major muscles.
Well,
And you
alive.
lose dexterity
Mhm.
because now you're nervous. You could hear them ransacking downstairs. You have perhaps another 10 seconds, if that, to get ready, get your gun, get everything ready to go. Baseball bat, samurai sword.
Yep.
Those are all good options. But here you are jiggling, trying to get that
Love it.
key undone. And because somebody at a gun store gave it to you,
Yep.
and you're using it, being a good citizen, but it's not that practical and it can get you killed. Okay. So if you want to secure these, your guns with this, that's great. But then you're trading access for security.
Mhm.
Okay. That's the main thing there. All right. So what other options do we have? We have the big gun safe down the basement. Good luck with that. You're not going to be able to go through. Guys, hold on. Let
Do
me
you mind
pass.
stop robbing me for a minute? I need to go downstairs and arm myself.
right.
I got some old coffee in the coffee maker. Heat it up in the microwave. We'll be right back.
There's
We
old
always
pizza
do.
in the fridge.
That's
Okay.
right.
No, it's not going to work.
There's the remote, guys.
Yeah.
Give me a few minutes.
Yeah. So, all right. So,
Art
got-
actually just said a really good point here too. Is start teaching your gun safety as soon as you can,
yeah.
and don't keep it a secret. Art just said too. Don't keep it a secret. I mean, other than here and now that everyone knows that I own guns. Obviously, I don't. I talk about it all the time now, but I don't know that I would care to be very vocal about it because then that 30% becomes 60%. Because if they really want to rob you, then they're just going to come prepared on their end. And they're going to catch you off guard. So I don't know if I agree with that or not. So I have to think about that for a minute.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. Just saying. It's like when I do this with my wife all the time. We never post when we go on vacation ever. We don't post photos. We don't post like, hey, just leaving to go to the house right now, and then we're going to drive down. And I talk about it with all the time because for me, it just comes down to like. You don't need to know when I'm on vacation. I'm going to take my photos and I'll post them when I get back. And then you're like, oh, wait, you're home? Well, yeah. Well, you just posted you're on vacation. Well, yeah, I'm not on vacation anymore. I was done with vacation,
You got a pretty good image of yourself. How many followers do you think you have?
Well, I'm just saying.
Hey, well, yeah, your mom's going to be like, all right, let's go around the house. That's they're gone.
Yeah. Hey, where's that guy right now? He's in his radio station
Yeah,
doing a
exactly.
podcast.
That's right.
Yeah, and my wife is very much home, ready to go. So just know that is always happening.
Good luck.
So, exactly. Good luck.
Yeah.
I always laugh when people say that.
Are you trying to say I'm not famous?
I'm
I
just
literally wake
saying.
up in the morning and
I say, listen, if you're and Tom, you can back me on this. If somebody's going to rob your house, they're going to rob it if they're not.
True story.
I mean,
Yep.
they're going to try when you're not there. But people aren't. I don't believe crooks are out there carousing Facebook looking for the person on vacation.
no, but I'm thinking about the people that are actually your hidden enemies that are in there that are waiting for you to go. It's your friends that are not your friends, right? The people that are that.
That's
and
why
there's
I
people like that.
That's
So
why
I don't know.
got
I'm
off
just
of-
weird.
That's why I got off of social media.
Yeah, that's true. I know. That's
Statistics show there's FBI stuff. Okay, 65% of home invaders know of or they know the victim. Now that doesn't mean good.
Oh, yeah. You just
Good
got
time,
torched.
Charlie.
I did. I did.
It doesn't
No further
mean good
questions,
time
Rob.
Charlie who's
Thank you,
flipping
Tom.
burgers next door.
Right.
Oh, hey Marge, you're going on vacation. Okay, I'll watch the house for you. No, I'm talking about someone who kind of knows
I didn't know that.
that you're taking off. Someone knows of you. Let's look at an example in Arlington Heights. Last year, it was last April 2020, I believe. And you had the homeowner answers the door. And he opens the door. And there's two guys wearing masks. They force their way in. He fights with one. He runs off. And he shoots the other. And he was totally vindicated. It was a good self-defense in the home. Tumultuous, violent entry. He had his reasonable belief, and he employed deadly force. And he's not in any trouble at all, even though he's in Cook County. Okay, so he made it because the evidence was so much in his favor that he was protecting his family who were home at the time.
Mm-hmm.
This happened in the middle of the day.
Wow.
Okay, so when they caught the one guy who got away, he said, "Why would you guys do this in the middle of the day? And what was it about this house? Why do you pick this house?"
Mm-hmm.
He said that the guy who was shot, his accomplice, who was shot by the homeowner, was in that house years before, happened to be there with another friend and saw some shoe boxes with $100 bills in it. I mean, it's pretty stupid reasoning, but that was his reasoning. So it could be 65% of the time, it could be someone, perhaps a contractor, one of his staff, one of his buddies. If you have maids,
Ooh, Mary. Ouch.
if you have maids, perhaps it could be the boyfriend, the husband of a maid, someone who somehow is removed from immediate knowledge of you, but somehow knows people with access to your house. Okay? So that's why you don't broadcast your vacation plans and you break up your schedule. Another thing.
So I'm not crazy is what you're trying to tell me.
No, you're not.
Yay.
You're not.
Good.
I don't have that problem because I don't Facebook and I don't
I'm
I
with
don't
you.
text. Okay, and if I wasn't here, everyone would think I'm still up in the woods.
Yep.
So I don't have to worry about that.
Well, this is a pre-recorded show, so this isn't live at all.
As far as
so.
anybody knows.
So we have, let's see, the other statistic here. Most home invasions take place in a day because when, the bad guys figure you're gone. So that's when they come in. And when they find a woman perhaps there, that you have about 38% of the rapes, or about 50 to 60% of rapes are in the home. And it's a target of opportunity. So anyway, it's in the middle of the day. 10 to 3 is the time that they're invading the home. Now with all the COVID stuff going on over the last year, people are locked down, they're at home more. That's going to reflect in the statistics come next year when they have everything.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the statistics on that is going to be in terms of any kind of home entry, since most people are working from home nowadays.
Yeah.
It's gonna definitely be offset some way.
And bad guys know that.
Yeah.
So, I'd be interested to see what the stats are. Maybe the home invasions have went down a little bit because of people being home. So then it brings us back to at night and in the middle of the night, that sort of thing. And, getting back on the accidental shootings and that sort of thing.
Mary just threw a thing up here real quick. It says, in my area, they've been acting as contractors looking to quote your business. One distracts you, then the other one breaks in. That's really bad.
Yeah.
It's just a sick person. I don't know. I don't know. That's it. All art. Yeah, that's it.
Well, you have a conscience. If you have no conscience, then the world is open to you. You can do whatever you want and justify it, right? So that's what they do. And you're right. Mary, who was it? Mary was it?
Yeah, Mary. Yep.
Mary, great point. Great point, because beware of those green vests. Anyone could buy those green vests. Yep. And especially the elderly. They still respect authority. Not like this new generation. We don't respect any authority. So when they see a green vest or a blaze orange vest, they go, oh, he's probably
Checking
legitimately here. He's a meter reader. He's working with the city. Yep. He has a right to be there. So beware of those vests and a clipboard. In my neighborhood, when I see those guys working in duos, going from door to door, I don't care if I'm late for work. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to pretend like I'm doing my thing in my drive, and I'm going to keep an eye on them.
Yep.
Because I want to see if they're legitimate or not, and look for any furtive moves that prove me otherwise. Yep. So beware of that angle on how to get in your home.
Non-logoed trucks is a big thing. All of our vehicles are logoed, had writing on the side. You have an appointment with us. You have we actually sent a picture of our technician and his truck before we show up. One, it's great because it's a good customer service thing. But two, it also, you have wives that are home or kids that are home, and we're Gold Shield's supposed to be there. Okay, cool. All right. Well, then some guy shows up with a clipboard and they think it's Gold Shield. Well, it's not Gold Shield because it's not the same picture. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just one of those things for safety in my world of being prepared for things that we just do for our customers because I care that they know who's showing up at their door.
And we get lulled into a false sense of security if you live in a semi-decent neighborhood where things like that just don't happen. Well, things like that do happen. Yep. And they're relying on that false sense of security for you to crack that door open, like that gentleman in Arlington Heights.
Yep.
He opened the door. Why? Just keep the storm door closed, talk through the door. Or don't even answer the door.
Yep.
Just watch their behavior, see what they do
Mhm.
when you don't answer the door, and that's going to speak volumes in their intent.
I live in the just now registered third safest place in Illinois. My town is registered as a third safest place to live in Illinois.
Well, I don't want to hear it.
I'm just saying. So, but here's the thing. Down the street, 10 doors down, similar kind of situation happened where two gentlemen broke into a house, stabbed the dog, beat up the husband, took the wife in a room, and it was all over the fact that somebody had told these two break-ins that there was money in the house. There was cash in the house. And there was no money in the house at all. And they ended up catching both the gentlemen, and it was the same kind of questions like, hey, why did you break into this house? Why did you do this? Well, we heard that he had a lot of cash in his house. We heard it from a friend of a friend that was in the house. So you got to be careful what you say, you know what I mean? And who you invite to your house. Personally, for me, it's a big deal to invite somebody to my house. It's not a simple thing. And I don't have any cash in my house ever.
Everybody's welcome in my house. I don't even lock the doors. Come on.
Yeah, you can just we can probably get a boat for your house, right? Yeah. For the water main that you hit.
Yeah, no, that's clear. That's dried up now. Grass is growing nice. It's really nice.
I don't know if I had to boat you to your house or not.
Yeah, no. But I mean, a lot of people don't like that. My wife is always
cash and guns. Yeah, so
I'm like, why the heck? Just leave the door unlocked. All the lock does is keep an honest man honest.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. They want to get in, they're going to get in.
Sure,
simple as that. I'd rather not have to replace a door.
Well, the big thing is they're stealing cars right now. So thieves are going to find opportunity, and you're right. They're going to find a way. They're going to do a way. Well, someone got real smart and said, hey, you know what? We're just going to go to Dodge, the manufacturer, and we're going to steal a computer that computerized codes all the keys. Yeah. So then we can literally have the key to every single Dodge that we possibly want. And now all the Challengers are being missing and all the Jeeps are being missing because they have the key, the universal key to all the Dodges. So they're stealing Challengers and Chargers left and right out of people's driveways in the middle of the night because all they got to do is push one button on a keypad and it has, yeah, exactly. They're walking away with it. So opportunity is definitely a key, but when there's a will, there's a way. And they're going to find a way to do it. We just got to be more prepared. That's all.
So where do you guys think, I'm just curious, the number one access point, think of your home, and where do you think they're coming in? I mean, what's the primary way they come into a home?
I would say front door.
Front door, what do you think?
I'm going to go back door just to be different than you, and I like the back door. I'm just kidding.
Never hurt anybody.
Yeah.
Not me anyway.
You're right, front door.
I was going to say
that's the highest percentage.
Right, because if and all I'm saying is because if it's during the day and your neighbors are watching or whatever and they go in the front door, they think, oh, they let them in or whatever.
Right. And I mean, here are your neighbors thinking, well, if they're standing in front of the front door, they got to be legitimate, because if they were bad guys, they'd be sneaking in the windows, they would be going down window wells, they'd be going around back, that sort of thing. But if they're standing on your front stoop, well, they probably are legitimate. And you'd be surprised how many front doors are not secure. And when they build a home, probably some contractor's going to call us up, but they just make it perfunctory. It's an opening, functioning door. Does it work? I mean, the project manager comes out, does the door work? Yes, boss, it works. Okay, good enough. Let's move on. Okay, but is it a secure door? Did they put those screws into the faceplate, that accepts your deadbolt? Did they put that 3 inches into the door frame? If they didn't, you'll see when you kick open doors. I know you do a lot of kicking of doors, Ken.
Yeah.
Okay. Next time you kick a door, that deadbolt that's in part of the door, they'll be intact. Yeah. And what will be ripped away is your door frame.
Yep.
Oh, really?
And your faceplate, because they put it in, but only little tiny screws. So that's all it takes. Now, if you have a storm door, that's extra security because that breaks glass, and that might alert more neighbors.
Sure.
And it's a big mess. Now they have to still keep on kicking in your front door, your wooden door.
It's just one more access point that goes in there. My front door is actually completely computerized, so I don't have a key to my house at all. Mine's a code that you have to get into my house, and it alerts me when it opens, so I know when the front door is being opened every single time. Again, all the stuff that we have, I have cameras all over my house. I have a Ring doorbell installed, so I literally get alerts left and right when someone's even stepping on my grass, and I have the videos to prove it. But at the end of the day, again, it just comes down to will versus way. There's will, there's a way. That's it. Like, you're right. Doesn't really all matter, but the things that we do all are stopping points for somebody. So when you walk up in my house, you can clearly see there's cameras everywhere. They're lit up. They have, bright lights on them. They're red. You literally are stupid if you walk on my front lawn and think that you're not going to be seen in some way, shape, or form. It's a deterrent, right? It's not a guarantee. So when we deal with the deterrent part of it, it's one more step a robber has to go through to get past whatever you have going on. So when you're dealing with like bigger doors, robbers are lazy. They want to find the fastest way into your home and the fastest way out, because if they have to jump through a window or go up in a second story, they're just going to go to the next house down the road. It's the same when they break into cars. If you ever watch these videos, and there's a lot of them around, and especially in this area, where people just come in and pull handles. They literally walk up in the middle of the night, they pull the door handle. If it doesn't open, they just keep on walking. And they go to the next neighbor's house, and they pull the door, and they're just hoping somebody forgot to lock their car, and that somebody that forgot to lock the car now has cash in their car, and they can just open the car door, get the cash out, and keep going. They're not trying to steal your car. They're trying to steal whatever's inside your car, and that's it. But they're not gonna take a locked door and go, hey, I can probably put a Slim Jim in there and pop the lock open and do everything else, and the alarm's going to go off. If it's unlocked,
they're not going to have Lefty the safe cracker with them.
Yeah, they're not going to be carrying around a professional. Yeah, all that good stuff too.
So there's a lot of good things out there. I see you got some sort of little box there. And when it still comes to guns, I mean, especially with kids, right? There's the boxes for the fingerprint or something, or does that even help?
Yeah, it does. This is the common ground. This is your compromise between safety for kids and accessibility.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this one, this is a gun vault. You have Century Safe. You have a number of brands out there, and you can be Googling them while you're talking. But anyway, there's the code where you hit the pad a couple times, the door opens, or you have the biometric that takes your thumbprint, and it'll open only by your fingerprint alone. It won't open. Yeah, but you can go ahead and put it over there.
I'm like,
and one of my instructors lost the key. So
yeah, buddy.
And now show the back of it, upside down the back, because it has mounting hardware.
Nice.
And that's nice to know, because you can go ahead and put that on the side of your bed frame, perhaps, or
It just drops out the bottom?
Yeah, it's just going to open up. And you could put it on the side. Let's see if you could see it here.
Yeah, it looks
On
like
the side.
it's about the size of a key
Your
box,
nightstand,
right?
that sort of thing.
Sure.
They used to make one that we had for a display that looked like a radio. So kids just figure, hey, that's mom and dad's
The
radio.
old-timey radio.
Yeah, and that was the same deal, and it pops open. But you could have your gun in there. You could have a magazine in the well, a matter of choice if you want to lock and load. But you're the only one who's going to get in there.
Are you a lock and loaded guy?
I'm a lock and loaded guy.
Yeah.
On the outside. The outside. In home, if it's in here, lock and loaded. If it's if I'm in a position where like a shotgun, for example, okay, I don't have one in the chamber, but I have one in the tube. Gotcha. I have a few of them, a number of them, a whole bunch of them.
That's right.
Okay, but I know that's another thing too. How old are your kids?
Yeah.
I mean, a 2-year-old isn't going to be able to rack a 870 Remington shotgun and flip off the safety. That's way beyond their skill level.
Sometimes a 50-year-old has trouble with a Glock.
Oh, come to the range and see what they're come to the range and see what people are incapable of doing. But what you have to do is gauge, your carry based on the ages that you have. But that's a great compromise. Go ahead.
So it happens in the day front door. So instead of keeping it under your bed, you're probably wiser to keep it somewhere closer to the front door.
That's a great question. And I didn't prompt you. I'm glad you asked that, because I'm a fan of a decentralization of your armory. Right now, you have the guys who have the big safe in the basement, or the safe in the master bedroom. Yeah. That's the only place. But what if you're downstairs with the family and then you hear the kick of the door? You're not going to have time to run all the way to the master bedroom to get it out of here. So these are cheap. I mean, for when you look at in the big picture, $100, $100, a little bit more if you want more room in there. But from $100 to $150, get 2 of them. Put one in the bedroom where you are and asleep. You have easy access. And then one downstairs by the front door, in the closet, in the pantry, somewhere else other than putting it all in the same spot. So get a couple of them. Chances are, if you're a gun owner, you have more than one gun. So put one downstairs, put one upstairs, have the same code. If it's biometric, it's not an issue.
Sure.
But don't, screw up. Oh, well, this one is 007.
What's my downstairs
this one
code?
is 008.
Honey, what's the downstairs code?
Yeah. No more honey.
The back door?
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't want to be asking honey for anything. So make it the same so it's universal. You know how to get in there.
Interesting, yeah.
So decentralization.
And I think that's part of what some of the stuff that we talk about, I talk about out of the show here is questions like that. Oh, I got to have a gun safe. I got to do this. I got to do that. It's $100. It's not, you're not buying a firearm to save money. You're buying a firearm to protect your family. That's it. Yeah. Or to hunt or to have fun or do whatever it is. But this is one of those steps that protect kids. So you, as the gun owner, your kids should not have codes to something unless they're properly trained on it. And it's an easy access point. They're not going to figure out a 4-digit code anytime soon unless it's something, 1, 2, 3, 4, which shouldn't be that way. It should be a code that doesn't make, you can't readily get to and access to. But you literally, you made up a good point there and made it right. Having guns in multiple areas. I mean, we do in our house too. But I also have a very huge gun safe that I keep all of my extra ammo in, and I keep all of my, my shotgun in there and stuff, whatever, my AR and all that, my rifles in there, because I just want, even though me and my wife do not have kids, we don't have people coming over to the house all the time. We still lock up our guns because at the end of the day, when I'm not home and if someone does break in, they now need to go through a safe to get to my guns. Yeah. So my guns are locked up. Go ahead and steal my TV. Congratulations. You go ahead and steal my couch. Okay, good luck getting out the front door. You had to take it apart in 6 different pieces to get it in. So you're going to spend a whole bunch of time. Like, what are you going to steal? Are you going to steal my kitchen table? Congratulations. Yeah. There's no cash in here. And if you have cash in the house, it's in my safe. So you got to get through a monster safe that I spent some pretty darn good money on to make sure. But that's just me because I have multiple guns. A first-time home buyer or first-time home buyer. I got too many other things in my head today. That's all. We've been talking to first-time home buyers all like for the past 6 months right now, which is great, and I love it. But it's on my head. So when you're buying your first firearm, that should be your second purchase. Your first purchase should be the firearm, the right one, getting proper training and getting set up. But your second thing should be, what are you doing with it when you get home? Right?
Yeah, like any sport, there's a buy-in.
Sure.
If you want to go skiing, I want to learn how to ski. Okay, well, you got to buy the skis, you got to buy the lift ticket, you got to pay for gas to get up to Devil's Head, you got to pay for the hotel room. There's a big buy-in initially, and then you learn. The same thing with a gun, buy the gun, buy all the gear that goes with it, do it right. This is something that you don't want to, second guess it, and you don't want to chintz out on it. Just do it right. Get a couple of these. Think in terms when you said the safe. Yep. The safe is the mothership.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
These guys are your satellites. Yep. And then have a couple of them. So you can have your big gun collection. They're not going to break in there. And then you have your other ones in the house.
So a typical gun owner, not somebody like you all who have a lot of them. So let's say a typical family, is it one gun? Is it two? Is it three? And if it is one gun, then again, where do you place that more by the front door, or do you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
with that one, I'd probably side with the master bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah, with that one, if I only have one of these, it's going up to me because I'm more vulnerable. Look at it this way: you're more vulnerable hopping out of bed, okay, wearing your skivvies or your pajamas with the feet, and trying to slip and sliding on your wood floor. And whereas if you're awake and you're watching Gunsmoke on INSP at 10 o'clock, and you hear that door thud. If it's upstairs, okay, well, you're dressed, you have access to maybe a baseball bat you put down there. Put something down there if you only have one. Something to fend them off. I brought in the gladiator sword and the shield and everything like that. Yeah. But have another backup plan. And what's the cost? Or better yet, what's the price of peace of mind?
Having one gun versus multiple guns, you're one gun ahead of everything else for safety. And I think about it, where are your place you're going to run to? If someone breaks in your front door, kicks in your front door, where are you going to run to? You're going to run to your bathroom, or you're going to run to your bedroom. One of those two, or you're going to run to the basement. Like, I would put that first firearm in your hide area. Like, where you're going to run away from. You know what I mean? Because then you have time to not only open that, prepare yourself mentally, because you're scared now that someone's kicking in your front door, but you want that thing in the same room where you're scared at, rather than, I put it in the front living room and the dude's kicking in the front door and now I don't have anything and my gun's wonderfully sitting in a, nice, easy access safe right where the robber is and I can't get access to it. So I guess I'm grabbing a pillow. I mean, I don't know, a sock.
A pillow could be in the correct hands. A pillow could be
Tom, it
very
does not surprise me at all, dude. Tom, I'd worry about with you next to a spoon next to me. I'm just kidding.
Got the letter opener.
What are you holding over
I got a
there?
shiv. I got a shiv over here.
Ken's literally thinking about the tools that he can use to shiv somebody over there.
Well, you know why so many stabbing victims, they have 40, 50, 60 wounds. It takes a while usually to stab someone.
Okay. So here's another question. So you're a first time gun owner, you have a gun. And most people like to brag about that, or, hey, look at I got a gun, right? Do you recommend that? I mean, do you recommend letting your buddies know or whatever? Because if most people who break in are familiar with you, or, is that something you broadcast, or, hey, when the boyfriends come over for your daughters, I understand the cleaning of the gun part, right? But
the cleaning of the chainsaw, and the cocktail table.
That's right.
With the hockey mask.
But you understand what I'm saying, right? Is that something you want to
broadcast? Well, I
broadcast?
certainly don't broadcast to my buddies the color of my skivvies. So if I don't do that, I'm not going to.
Wait, that's not normal?
They know. I mean, the guys I hang with, they know that I got guns.
Well, sure.
So it's not even a topic, really. Sometimes,
right.
Let's all get together, let's shoot and everything. But to someone who you don't know very well, no, it makes no sense whatsoever. Yeah. So you've got to go back to Teddy Roosevelt with carrying a big stick and walking softly. Yeah. And you have peace of mind, but nobody else has to know that.
Right.
You're good friends. That's it. Your wife has to know.
How are you? Thanks for joining in.
All right. What else do we got?
I got another option, though.
Yeah.
All right. Besides this. And it's too big. I can't bring it in the studio.
That's what she said.
But it's
good. Touche.
Yeah. All right. All right. Here.
I threw it finally. I finally
click on that for a while. Take out your frustration.
Nice.
Okay. But it's something called hide in plain sight furniture or tactical walls. And I have it set up at the range when we do our tactical home defense class. And it's an ingenious idea that I thought of when I was like a kid, 12-year-old. We ought to have secret hiding places.
Right, it looks just like that.
Yeah, but it's thicker.
Yeah, okay? The bottom of it's thicker.
Yeah, you have a shelf just like that, but it's thicker. And to the untrained eye, to most people, they would never even think.
Nope.
But they say, well, how does then a bad guy, all he has to do is look for the button and he pushes it. Well, it doesn't work like that.
It's a magnet.
It's a magnet. Mm-hmm. And only where that magnet places, perhaps. Can you see?
Yeah, you can see.
Okay. Let's say here is the magnet underneath here, and you would just move it to a certain spot that you practice with, so you know where
That's
it is.
Cool.
And then it drops down. You have it right there. You can have it right in the middle of a cocktail party with Uncle Elmo and Uncle Buster right there.
Yep.
And boom, I need my gun, and just move it there. You hear a little click, click. It falls down.
Yep.
Okay.
So my wife and I do a lot of DIY stuff, and we actually made the mantle of our fireplace that way.
Nice.
Yep. So it looks like a big old timber,
but
it's got a piano hinge on it. So we hide all the electronics and stuff inside there. It's a great place to put. That's where I guess I would put my handgun, because I just run across and grab it at that point.
Yeah. So you can have the whole entire house fortified with a number of handguns.
It's brilliant.
And it would still be safe for your children.
Yeah.
But it depends.
Well,
you're only limited by your creativity. Something like that, I probably would not have it lock and loaded.
Right.
I would want that extra safety measure.
Yep.
And, knowing your kids and what they can do. I have a lot of shooters. A lot of adults cannot rack that slide.
Yep.
So can a child do it? Either if they do it by the right method, if they're old enough. Most of them can't. I wouldn't count on them not knowing. But that extra safety step, grab the gun, rack it. It's a fraction of a second.
So, and then here's what I want to tell people as well is children don't listen. They watch.
Yep.
And they repeat what they see.
Yep.
So, like, I have big saws in my house because I do woodworking. But they know it. They're always put away. My kids have never gone down there like, hey, let me just cut something with this. You know what I mean? They see that it's done properly. The guards are on, things like that.
Sure.
A hammer can be deadlier than a gun. And I've got every time I do a new job, I just like collecting hammers. So I've got all these hammers, but my kids never like get it and just start hitting people with it. And so when you educate your kids, and if you're not sitting there like, they're not going to think that that's what that tool is for either.
Right.
So, it's not, you can sit and talk to your kids till you're blue in the face, but they'll do what you do. They won't do what you say.
Well, I always think about when we talk about gun safety and everything else, and hi, Grandma. So good to have you on the show. Thank you so much for coming on. So when I think of kids, a bandsaw, right? It's one button. It's literally green. Yeah. And it turns that sucker on, and that thing will chop off anything you put in front of it.
Well, we know that.
Okay.
The mafia knows that too.
Yeah. Sure. We are in Chicago. You remember
That's
that,
right?
Okay, good. And there's a nice river.
That's right. That's right.
That's gross and dirty anyway. So, but I just think about little things like that. Dressers. So if things aren't properly, you've heard of dressers, they open up the drawers and you get too many drawers open, it becomes like a tool chest and falls over. Well, there's certain things, especially as a contractor, right? So we have safety measures in place. And I just had a big conversation with another contractor about our electrical safety, and you have safety 1 and all the way to safety 5 of different things in your electrical system before your house burns down, right? And all those steps need to be followed to make sure that safety happens. Did you know that on furniture, especially dressers and kids' rooms, they have wires that you can attach to the back of the dresser that will literally stop it from falling over completely so it gets to a certain spot. It comes in every single one of them. Ask me how many people actually install that. Nobody, because they're like, yeah, that's fine. I mean, my kid's not going to do that. It's not about your kid doing it or not. They watch you. Right. So if they see you open all 3 drawers and you're just trying to put their clothes away, they think that that's okay. But that 4th drawer you open on the top is the one that tips over everything. It's not safe. So safety, like you said, in my house, I don't keep everything locked and loaded. I keep them one step further because I'm going to walk in, I'm just going to rack it, I'm good to go. But I definitely don't keep them just lying around fully loaded, ready to go. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I agree with you on that 100%.
It's probably smart. Keep everything
what
all
is that is what up. That is. I don't know what that means. Mac, tell me more about that.
Thanks,
I don't know what that is. Maybe, I don't know. It's after 5 o'clock, so I don't know how many is.
So yeah, I think that's, and I like that idea of the instead of hanging the furniture thing. Yeah. That's brilliant because it's probably a nice piece. I've seen it. It's a nice piece of furniture. Sure. It doesn't look out of place.
Nope.
They look good, and nobody would ever think of it. There's a child protection statute, 720, 524-9, complied statute, Illinois, and basically it's unlawful for a parent to allow a child to have access to a gun.
Really?
So if you're going to get in trouble, if your child, but you know what? Many times it's not your child. It's it's a neighbor kid. Oh. Because your child might be trained. Mm-hmm. And this is part of the home safety thing too, because you might, you teach your children about hammers and woodworking. They know it, they get it. But what about that neighbor kid? Okay. I had a neighbor kid come in my basement. Next thing I know, I leave and I see a fireplace poker that was way off in a corner laying in the middle of the rug. I know my daughter didn't do that. Okay. I know who did it. okay, because he didn't receive the right training. So
Right.
why is a kid, an 8-year-old running around with a fireplace poker? All right, so
He wanted to poke her.
where do you draw the line at securing everything? So but that's another home safety element of having as much as you can secured from not your child, but from somebody else's child.
Yeah.
And if you're a grandparent, you hardly see your grandkids. Well, they come, they visit. You're used to your routine. You don't have the same security precautions as perhaps the parents of the children do.
Yep.
And it's time to assess the house when you have your grandkids come over. Grandparents are younger now.
Yep.
And then a lot of them are gun owners and they shoot.
So one of
They
the
got it.
other things that I get questioned on a lot is they say, well, I have a holster. Shouldn't my holster stop and be safe? Tom, does this holster stop a bullet?
No, it's not. Absolutely not.
So if you pull the trigger,
so you mean you like take it off and lay it there? Or
so like if you holster your weapon and you leave it next to your bed, and a kid comes by and grabs it and is playing around with it. Now my holster has a finger guard on it, so I actually can't do it. But some holsters do not have finger guards, and they just you're some kid or whoever grabs it, pulls the trigger. It's going through the bottom of this.
Yeah,
it's not going to stop it. This is like a plastic material. It's not plastic. It's Kydex because it doesn't scratch my gun. But and Black Rhino, local company, is this is my carry. This won't stop a bullet. None of them will. They're not bulletproof, so they don't get jammed up inside there. It's going to blow through. It's going to hit my foot. It's going to hit whatever's on the other side of it. It's not going to even do anything about it. So that's another common thing that I get questioned on a lot too. I have a holster for it. It should be safe. It's not.
Right. The holsters do not suffice as far as a way to safeguard a handgun.
Yep.
That's for carriage. It's for retention. I mean, you got your retention holsters, but basically that's just for carriage.
Yep.
And that's the whole concealed carry issue. Let's see what else. Getting a little bit off the home safety thing.
Yep.
But one of the things I tell my students to do is manipulation of the firearm. Do you know that 77% of all accidental shootings with someone's firearm, they take place in the home? Okay, 77%.
That's pretty
accidental
high.
shooting. And it usually is at that time of cleaning, of taking it down, and making very poor assumptions that something is unloaded, right? And sometimes it's because people don't have the hand strength to work with their gun.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to take it the easy way out. One of my pet peeves when people, they slingshot the slide. They only take 2 fingers, they grab it, and they slingshot it. When I teach, bring it close. If you have a hard time working the slide, put your left hand over and rack it, okay? So what I tell my folks who are just getting into the sport, they work on computers, they're throughout the day, throughout their whole life, so they don't have that hand strength, but they want to shoot. Okay, the way you get good with the gun at handling it, and that's 90% of it. Accuracy is one thing, but now handling it. How well do you handle that gun? Go to the range and you'll see the real pros out there, people who know how to handle that gun, okay? And that will tell you how much experience they really have. So what I tell them to do, get some snap caps or get some dummy rounds.
Love snap caps.
And practice loading. Practice loading your magazine. Here's a magazine here. Here are these little
and
blue.
For everyone on Facebook, real quick, I just want to throw a disclaimer out there. No live rounds. These are snap caps. These are dummy rounds. They are marked as so, and they are not live ammunition at all.
They're blue.
They're blue.
They're blue. They're easy to find.
Yep.
So practice loading your mags. And this little gadget here, I'll show you how to work it. But for the most part, you should be able to load. If you're going to participate in a sport, in a magazine like this, it's not a clip, it's a mag. Okay, you should be able to load at least 5 rounds. 5 rounds, right?
Yep.
Because this thing might not be around when you need it.
Sure.
That's a speed loader. So there's a way to do it. And when you start doing this over and over again while you're watching TV, Charlie's Angels or something, is that show still on?
No,
I did not
but
expect
it was good.
Boy,
Tom to say
I tell you,
Charlie's
that
Angels
was a
at all.
good
So
show.
that was a good show.
I like them gals running around, you know.
That's right.
All right.
I love
So, yeah, Gunsmoke, Charlie's Angels, the Red Skelton show. Remember Red Skelton?
Yeah, Bonanza too. Was
Nobody
always,
watching those Red
I
Skelton.
always enjoyed a Bonanza.
Yeah. So anyway,
But there's never never any blood on Bonanza back in the day.
nah. That's
wire for
before Sam
the wire.
Peckinpah started directing.
That's right.
But go ahead, you push that first round down. The next one, it's thumb to thumb. And you start it with the base of the next round using your thumb as a backstop, coming right to the edge of the rails that retain the round as it's being pressed down on the follower and the spring is being depressed. So it's thumb to thumb, just like that. Okay?
Mhm.
All right. And it slides right in. So let's say you have osteoarthritis, you're having some issues, so you could still get at least that first round in there. And then the next one, you take this Up Lula made in Israel and just go ahead, press down, and all you got to do is drop this in.
Oh,
How do I get close to the camera to do this?
Here, we can just bring it over. Hang on.
Don't ask me to do it. I've got weak hands.
All right.
Well, no, we got to bring the camera closer. So
Yeah.
people out there, I got it.
Oh yeah, you got it. Right? You want? I can do it. You
No,
want?
I cannot wait till I drop this thing right now.
That's it.
Let's see. All right. Here, I'm going to do a little close-up shot. There we go. Okay.
Pull down, drop it in. The ramp slides out from under the round, and you got a next one. All right, so let me
Isn't
do
that awesome?
a couple more. It's really the one of the best things on the market. Okay, so put at least one round there. That's easy. Push it in here under the rails. You push the follower down. Next, put your Up Lula on there. This is when you want to load about 15 rounds in your mag. Squeeze it. Use a base. Okay. And it slides out. The ramp slides out from underneath the round. It comes over the top. Push it down or pull it down. Drop another round in there. It comes over the top. Put another one in there. And it becomes very easy. Okay? There you go. Up Lula.
That is awesome.
Up Lula. It's a fun
But-
word, too.
But work with your guns.
Nice work
Practice
there.
holding your gun. Okay? Here's a dummy gun here.
Try out round in there. Can I
Work
borrow
that.
that Up Lula for a second? It's my
Yeah.
favorite thing to do is use that thing.
Here.
You got an
I
Up Lula?
do. Actually, I have it in my when I go to the range. This is what, because when you go to the range, I bring like 4 or 5 clips with me.
Yeah.
But you can burn through 4 or 5 clips pretty quickly.
Clips or magazines?
Yeah.
And I magazines. Oh, I did it again. See, he's gonna teach me.
Magazine.
I'm
See,
learning. See, I'm picking it up.
He's killing me with that. So I don't use a
All right.
table. I use my
Okay.
hand. But I'm gonna.
But that you use your hand as a base, though.
Yeah. So when I use mine, I literally put this in and I literally do it just up like this. So I just hold it. I cup it. I have a bigger hand for this kind of
Yeah.
stuff, and then I just go in and out with it. So it
Yeah.
makes it
Well, you're
simple.
6, 8, 10, whatever you are,
Yeah,
6'4".
but it makes it really simple to kind of
Yeah.
reload these quickly, which is nice. The base part of it is great because you can just push down.
Right.
I just like to push it because I'm so used to doing
Yeah.
it
Well,
100 million times.
you got big paws there.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
But
so question.
it's cool.
And what about like a beanbag gun for home safety? So if somebody's like, I don't want to kill anybody. I mean, you don't want to get an airsoft. Be like, what was that? A mosquito? Right.
So when do you have morals when somebody's breaking into your house and trying to cause harm to the family?
I don't know. I'm just saying. We
Just
got a lot of
a little bit.
listeners, over 750,000
I guess
listeners
that's
out there.
true.
There's got to be some people going, boy, I don't know these guns. So I don't want to kill somebody, but I maybe want to stun them, or maybe a taser, or
How about a good rebel yell? Because that just might scare the hell out of them and they run out. Once
Right.
they see you in there, and if you act aggressive, just like a gorilla who puts his arms up, to make himself bigger, and you run at him, and if you can, that might be all you need. But I look at it this way. It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
It's better than whatever you have. I mean, if that's all you have, you make it work.
okay.
There's something else called the Berna gun. You ever hear about that?
Mm-mm.
The Berna is it shoots CS pellets, and it's like 68 caliber, big pellets. I mean, they blow up.
It's like a paintball gun that's
Yeah,
not a
And-
paintball gun.
And I mean, you hit a guy, intruder, a couple times in the face, the neck, the chest area, and he's going to feel that. But, I kind of say that a little bit hesitantly, just because we saw the effects of CS on all these rioters out there this past summer and the summer past.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, they're running around like it was the mosquito truck back in the 60s. It doesn't bother you. So, it has to be right in the guy's face.
But you got to remember, the other person has just as much adrenaline. If they weren't expecting you to be there, their adrenaline is just as high as you.
Right.
I've seen guys, full 300-pound guys, getting hit by a taser, all adrenaline up, and literally walked away like nothing happened. So at the end of the day, I get where you're going with it, Ken. I guess my logic around it is this person has no right to be here, and it's life or death towards my family or him.
Sure.
Or her or whoever's breaking in. You're making that conscious decision to break in my house. I want to make sure this is not going to be a question of, this is a question of life or death, And
don't think in terms of killing anybody. Sure. We don't teach anyone to kill.
Of course, yeah.
What we do teach is to stop the threat against you and your family. So when the threat stops,
you stop.
Then you stop. I mean, when you have reasonable belief that threat is over.
Yep.
I mean, if he's still coming at you after you tase him and stun him and, shoot him and he's still coming, the threat is still active. Okay. So your reasonable belief is changing throughout the event.
Yeah.
At all times. So that's what it really comes down to. What's your reasonable belief? And I'm not trying to kill anyone. I just want to stop the threat.
Sure. Sometimes racking a 12 gauge is all you need to do. You literally see that going, you rack your 12 gauge or you rack something and that's it. And that's all. Derek, was it you that was shot with a 300-pound guy? Thanks, Art. No, it was not me.
In the face.
Yeah, exactly.
So going. Here's and I love all this stuff. And trust me, I've learned a ton from this show. We're moving into the 4th of July. And the 4th of July is the deadliest in the Chicago area, is the deadliest weekend. So maybe next week after the 4th of July, I'd love to have a conversation about the gun violence and that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be a neat conversation because what was it, 2 weekends ago or whatever it was, or Memorial Day, where 67 people were killed in Chicago with guns or
they're shot,
right? And I think along with the safety and whatnot, having that conversation, I think would be worth it for a lot of folks. And
I think after the 4th of July, a good conversation would be first date.
Right. Or
before.
This one should have been first date.
No.
Right.
But this probably should have been the first date show.
Yeah, and I just I thought about that, and when I heard that, and I've got mixed feelings about it, and I know there's strong people who oppose guns because of that, and I think there's strong people who support guns because of that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's I think it'd be worth at least a conversation. I think it'd be a neat conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I'll look up data if it's available for it. I mean, maybe we can talk about last year's numbers, and then if there's data for this year's numbers, then too, we can do that. Hey, Jen, welcome to the show. I think, and I want to be truthful with this. We want the opposing gun owners to speak their mind. This is your time to literally be on a show and have two people that are not going to fight with you, not tell you you're stupid or you're wrong. I want to listen to it because I've never had somebody walk up to me and say, hey, I oppose guns and had a healthy conversation with it. I want to have that healthy conversation. Right. I'm not going to, I can tell you honestly, I'm not going to get mad about it. I have your views. I have my views. You have your views. This is America. That's what it's about, right? You can be opposite. You can have your own opinions on things. Right. That's why we live here, right? So
one other question now. I'm jumping all over the place. Okay. How in your lifetime, how many times has a gun been sitting in a gun box or a safe and just discharged?
Never.
In your personal life, right?
Right. Well, and I say that because that's one of the big concerns, right? Is, oh my gosh, it's accidentally going to go off. And I've tried to look up statistics or whatever. And as you said, it's kind of usually during cleaning or something because they haven't cleared the chamber and everything. But
handling
right.
issues.
And as far as the safety goes of your family and the kids and your pets or whatever, if it's taken care of securely and properly, a gun just doesn't go off.
And let me go a little bit further with that too.
Yeah.
Because on our range, okay, if we have
Ken just got eaten by the microphone. I'm not gonna lie, it was awesome.
I thought it was his thermos.
I
Put over
on him.
So on our range, if we call ceasefire, all I want people to do, I don't care what stage their gun is in. I don't care if they got a 45 locked and cocked, hammer to the rear, round in the chamber. All I want them to do, because it might be an imperative, to get down range, to save something, to do something critically, very quickly. Okay, so all I want them to do is put it down and step away. As long as there's no interaction between a piece of machinery and a human being, then we'll be okay. Now, his pet chimpanzee, who's a second shooter, that's another issue. Let him step away too.
Right.
Okay. As long as we separate him from the gun, it will not go off. I can get Uri Geller, the famous Israeli telekinesis specialist who bends spoons and bends forks by looking at him. I dare him. I'll lock and cock and get it ready. A 1911 with a hammer back, round in the chamber, and say, "All right, Uri, go ahead, make that gun go off." And I'll bet my home that he can't do it.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a key thing to remember. I mean,
we had an AR-15 on the table and talking trash to it the whole time, and no issues with it.
A hammer can't drive a nail without without it being.
It doesn't get
hand.
off the table and do that.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. So,
I think that's an important thing for our listeners to know too. I mean, the safety. I mean, if you're using it for a shield, if you're using it for protection, the way you've described it tonight, you put it there. I mean, and it's there. And it's not going to, just because you walk in the door, bang, go off or whatever.
No, I don't like you today. So, you were mean to me. You cleaned me really hard last time. So, agreed, 100. Awesome. Well, Tom, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for the information, the expertise. Always fantastic to have on there. Yeah. Kent, always great to have good questions.
It's up there on the screen, but on target, 815-477-2020. Looks like that's what it says. Check them out,
www.ontargetsite.com. Yep, I just put that on that. So, it's actually on my Facebook page permanently now, so it's on there as well. I support On Target a lot. I've been there many times, and I need to get over there. So summers are busy for me, and I need to go shoot, and I'm dying. Been talking about it for weeks.
Much appreciated, guys. Always a pleasure.
Always great. But check them out. With any questions, reach out to Tom or Derek. They'll answer those questions about the firearms, about safes, and the furniture.
If you have questions, please ask. I'm always open. I'll give you my honest opinion of what I've dealt with. If I don't know it, then I'll refer to Tom or whatever resource we need to make sure you have the right information.
Or call the range. Call the range. No problem. We'll answer anything you got.
815-477-2020 on target. Check them out at www.ontargetsite.com.
Beautiful. Thank you all.
Thanks for getting caught on the net, folks.